Hello everyone. So the next topic which we will be going to discuss is about the root pressure. So let's start with the first slide of this. Introduction. So let's take a situation in which if we take a stem of a well-watered herbaceous plant. So we take a stem of that and we cut off just above the soil. So we cut that stem just above the soil. So the xylem sap will exclude from the cut surface. So the xylem sap will be excluded from the cut surface. So this excludation of the sap indicates the presence of positive pressure in the xylem. So that will indicate a positive pressure in the xylem. So the magnitude of this pressure, they can be measured by the manometer to the cut surface. So we can measure that pressure, we can measure the magnitude of that pressure by the instrument called manometer. So this is called the root pressure. So it was the term which was coined by Stephen Hales because the force that gives rise to the acceleration originates in the root. So this is about the root pressure. So instrument by which we can measure the root pressure is the manometer. So root pressure generates positive hydrostatic pressure and by absorbing ions from the dilute soil solution, water potential. So uh, the lowering of the xylem water potential, they give to rise to a driving force for water absorption, and this will in turn leads to a positive hydrolytic pressure in the xylem. So there will be a positive hydrostatic pressure in the xylem. So root pressure is most likely to occur when soil water potentials are high and the transcription rates are low. So when there is a low transcription rate, then the water potential, the root pressure will most likely to occur in the soil, and that water potential is very high. So when the transcription rates are very high, it is taken up so rapidly into the leaves and lost to the atmosphere that a positive pressure never develops in the xylem. So this is what happens when there is transcription rates are very high. So that will happen that the pressure never develops in the xylem. The positive pressure has been never developed in the xylem. So this is a figure which is showing the how this root pressure takes place. So this is the epidermis layer, this is a cortex, then the endodermis and pericycle, and then the xylem. So what happens is this is a plant, so the cell wall is being depicted here and the plasma membrane has been depicted here, and there is a strip of Casparian strip which has been depicted here, that is in the red color. So when the water is here, it passes through the epidermis, then through the cortex, endodermis, pericycle, and then it will be transported by the xylem tissue to the other parts of the plant. So during the root pressure, water passes through the root tissues freely, but the minerals do not. So the function of xylem here is to transport the water, not the minerals. So the water will only be transported. The root is a semi-permeable barrier. So root is a semi-permeable barrier, so it will allow the transport of water. So as per the natural phenomenon of osmosis, osmosis is when there is a movement of molecules from a high potential to the low potential. The water molecules naturally, they flows from the area of low mineral concentration to the area of high mineral concentration, and this flow of water in the root pressurizes it. So this is the one which pressurizes the root. So this is the process of osmosis, and it is very common in all the plants and the animals. So the process of osmosis is very common in the case of the plants and also in the cases of the animal. If we take the example of this, in a non-woody plants, so osmosis, they allow the plant cells to accumulate water and be plump enough to keep the plant upright. So in non-woody plants, osmosis play such a role that it accumulates the water in it and it will keep the plant upright. So root pressure can be easily observed when the trees are chopped down during the spring season. So when there is a cut in the tree just above the soil level, then the root pressure can be easily observed, and it is mainly observed in the spring season. So when a particular tree is chopped or sawed down, we can generally see a stump that bleeds the sap. So there will be a stump that bleeds the sap, the xylem sap. So from this observation, it has been concluded that from the sap flow in maple, sap rising to the top of the tall trees and sap movement comes from a pump in the root. So this is all about the root pressure. So when there is a sap bleeding from the stump and other wounds in the some tree species is the result of the root pressure, a phenomenon that occurs only under limited circumstances and at certain times of year. So certain times of the year it will be mainly in the spring season when the trees are being cut down and when there is a sap bleeding from the stump. So this was all about the root pressure. Then this is the bridge sugaring. This is a new concept which we will be introducing in the root pressure only. This is a terminology which is used in the root pressure. So root pressure has been noted in many tree species, but it is most prominent in bridge trees. So there are some kind of bridge trees. So that's the name suggests, bridge sugaring. So bridge trees that is responsible for the bridge syrup industry. So there is a bridge syrup industry and bridge sugaring is responsible for this. So some of the highest root pressures measured have been recorded in the bridge tree. So among the, if we take the examples of this, then the highest root pressure is among the bridge trees, and it has sweat sap, elevate, which much less sweet than most sugar maples. So it is much less sweet than the most sugar maples. So the bridge sugaring season is described as beginning when producers are seeing the first butterfly and generally lasts for about 3 weeks, ending when the leaves emerge. So it will end when the leaves emerge. So this is a good description of the time. So when the soil is warming and buckets are hung on the trunk of the, as the root pressure is strong, so enough to push sap wall beyond the ground level. So the when the root pressure is very strong, then what happens is the buckets are hang on the trunk and to collect that sap of the bridge is being done. So the collection occurs from the tap holes during the hours when the wood is thawed enough to allow the sap to flow. So this is a great deal of boiling is necessary to produce bridge syrup at a sugar concentration that matches the concentration of the maple syrup. So what is happening is we have to just boil the bridge syrups at a sugar concentration that will match the sugar concentration of the maple syrup. So bridge syrup or bridge sugaring is a truly unique flavor from the forest of Alaska. So this is most commonly used in the forest. This technique is most commonly used in the forests of Alaska and other northern parts of the globe. So bridge syrup is very rarely found as it is difficult to produce. So it is very difficult to produce. So as per the estimations, if we look at the data and we look at the annual production of bridge syrup worldwide, it is less than 5,000 gallons. So this was all about the root pressure and how the bridge sugaring has been done. These are some of the references.